Alright folks, this is the TSL MDU 12-16A. There is another couple of letters on there, usually like -PMI or something, but unfortunately the person who sold me this has peeled all the labels off it, so you don't know what it is. So it's a sort of a lottery which one you're going to get, because there are sort of a series of these. So the really dumb one is literally just power in, power out. Next one up is sequential, so whenever you put power in, each output individually turns on one after the other to stop there being an inrush surge. Then there's this one. With this one, you can connect network in the back of it and control each output individually on and off from the network. And then the final one, the really posh one, also measures the current draw of each individual input. The backstory here is I bought one of these from a recycling company on eBay quite a long time ago. Thought it was brilliant, thought, right, I'll buy another one of those. So I bought another one, and like 6 of them showed up. And I did report it to the company, and after a bit of back and forward, we eventually decided that it was going to be so much bother figuring out how to return them and, you know, the postage and everything. They were just like, do you know what, just keep it. So I have loads of these. I use them for everything, and they're all the sort that can be turned on and off remotely from the network, which is really handy. So you can see we have a 16, let me just check, you can see, yeah, there we go. You have a 16 amp power con input. We then have 12 IEC outputs. There's a serial port here, that's just for some config stuff, you don't really use that. General purpose inputs, those can be used basically to report back over Ethernet. If you have something that has a GPO, you can connect it there and read the status over SNMP, which I have used for a changeover switch. So that's the kind of thing you can use that for. That's the Ethernet port, obviously. And yeah, on the front, each output is individually fused, as you can see. Yes, just there. And there's a repeat of the serial port on the front, just an RJ12 or RJ11 or something to that effect. And finally, we have the main switch that controls everything. So these would have come with a wee cover that clips on over this, but none of mine have that. The reason I'm taking this one apart is because when you shake it, this and a couple of these were a bit damaged in shipping, and those ones, the 2 worst ones I haven't used. The rest of them are fine, but you can hear like something rattling around inside this one. So I'm going to take the lid off and just, I think it's just, if you look in the front here, there are little plastic inserts that the LEDs shine through. These 2 are missing, so I think what's rattling around inside there is just an LED bezel, but let's find out. We're going to break the QA seal because I have a funny feeling that TSL aren't going to be honouring any kind of warranties or anything on this anyway, so take that off. And one more. Set that there, and okay, so we've got an earth tag on there. And there we go, that's what the insides of that looks like. Let me just bring you closer, 2 seconds. Okay, so what can we see in here that's interesting? First of all, there are 2 3.6 volt NiMi batteries in here. I am guessing those are keeping some settings or something like that, but what's interesting is in all of these that I've had, I haven't had to replace those. Normally they're useless by now, but these all seem to be fine. So I don't know what they're using them for, but it mustn't be anything very exciting, you know, with much power draw. This is the transformer that takes mains in and gives the unit 12 volts to power all the electronics that are in here. I would say the vast majority of that is to power all these relays. These are what give you the individual output control. Now, I will say I haven't actually seen what's in the other units that I've mentioned, you know, the other models, but I would guess that it's probably all the same circuit board, and probably they've just bridged out these relays on versions that don't need them. And similarly, I think Now again, I don't know because I haven't seen it, but I am guessing that these connectors here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Well, okay, maybe not. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm guessing somewhere along here will be where you can plug in a module to give you the current measurement. Yeah, possibly not. I don't know. This here is a great big massive relay. This one controls the entire input. So whenever you, the only time I've ever seen this actually operate is whenever you first switch this thing on, there will be a delay before that relay comes in, and then that powers all the other relays. Not 100% sure what the story behind that is. I'm sort of guessing that perhaps in some of the less intelligent models, this is the only control, you know, the whole thing switches on and off with that one control or something like that. Not sure, don't know. Down here is where you can see that there's a little Ethernet cable that joins the socket on the back onto this little thing on here. This is similar to the chip that was in the Probel matrix that we looked at in a previous video, in that this is actually an entire computer in one little Ethernet module, and I believe that gives out serial, I think, that then controls, this is a little PIC microcontroller down here that appears to be more or less the brains of this entire system. So obviously they have the ability to upload their own HTML files to this because it is a custom interface, and also it does SNMP. Finally, you can see down the back here, underneath this big ribbon cable that goes to the 37-way D-sub, those are loads of opto-isolators, and those make sure that your general purpose inputs are isolated from the rest of the system. It's also nice to see that everything, this is good heavy cable that's used to power everything. You can see what they've actually done is the connectors along the back here, they're in banks of 6, so there's a bank and there's a bank. And the lives connect onto the circuit board, and then those are obviously connected underneath through the relays. But the neutral and earth, they've used tinned copper wire all the way along here just to bridge everything together. And yeah, I mean, that seems pretty solid. There's no movement or anything in that. That was one thing I had sort of wondered about, was if you got a bad connection somewhere, could you lose a neutral all the way down here or something like that? But it doesn't look like that's, unless you somehow manage to actually snap a wire here or something, which I can't see any reason why that would ever happen. So yeah, that seems pretty solid. What else do we have? Oh yes, I was going to try and see what's rattling around inside here. Okay, so there's one. I was right, it is the wee bezel from the LED. I just want to see, there should by rights be a second one, but I don't see a second one. It might be wedged underneath the circuit board. Anyway, to be honest, as long as it's not a piece of solder or something rattling around in there, I don't really care. Let me see if I can fit this back in there. There we go. So there's one of them back in anyway. Obviously, whenever I get off camera, I will rattle this about a bit more, because I bet you it is stuck in here somewhere, because there's no, I can't see anywhere it could have got out, put it that way. And also, I'm going to tighten up the lacing bar because it seems a bit loose. There you go, that's already a bit better. So that's a TSL MDU. Incidentally, the company who sold me this, if you go on eBay and look up a TSL MDU, you will find there are hundreds of these for sale, and they sell them in bulks, you know, like in masses of like 5 or 6 of them now. I don't think you can actually buy them in 1s or 2s like I tried to, so I'm guessing they don't make much profit on it, and that was why they were just like, you know what, just keep it. So worked out great for me. But if you want one of these, definitely by all means go and get one on eBay. The company TSL who make it, you can still get all the manuals and stuff on their website, and it's really easy to reset these and use them on your own network. You just need to connect up a serial port to reset the IP address and you're away. So yeah, hope that was useful and you enjoyed, and I might look at, I do have another MDU, a less intelligent one but with a changeover switch inside, and in future I want to show how I upgraded that, you know, fixed all the indicators and things on it, so we might look at that again. But that's all for today, so thanks for watching.